Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Confession. Story 1. I stole a guest's AirPods first week on the job as a housekeeper. I worked in this mega fancy 4-star hotel. The rooms had to look like they were untouched. I'd literally turn off the lights and go around the bathrooms with a flashlight to pick up the tiniest of blonde hairs and wipe down fingerprints. I'd probably make a good fixer, come to think of it. I'd usually only steal the little soaps and lotions because they get ordered in by the kilo every week. Now I wasn't dumb, I'd never stuff my pockets. Just 1 or 2 little bottles. Whenever I got asked to turn out my pockets, I'd just be like, oh yeah, that was meant to go in that room over there. Oops. And go on my way. By the first month I had the top drawer of my dresser full. By the first year I'd figured out how to pilfer whole packs of toilet paper. Now onto the AirPods. In my defense, they were clearly fake. Metallic red? Really? Well, they still kicked up a fuss, and of course, I was the one who'd cleaned their room. I'd just gotten set up in the clocking system and was on my way out when I got a call to come into the office. The real bummer is that they were so nice and gave me the benefit of the doubt from the get-go. I was absolutely shitting myself. First week and I was already gonna be done in for theft. And my first proper job too. Well, they left me in the laundry room right by the office while they went to check in on the guest. I quickly hid them in a pile of pillowcases headed for the washing machine. One of the laundry bags might have been a smarter move. Honestly, don't know why they didn't question it when they found them. Or checked the cameras. Rest assured I stole plenty more, but never again from one of the guests. The idiocy was. Story 2. I've been ignoring my friend for weeks now on purpose. We're too different now. She's making choices I can't agree with and expects me to be on her side. She plays the victim too often and it's hard to pretend to agree. I can't stand seeing her make choices that are making her life worse. I'm seen as the bad friend for not agreeing with her. So instead of trying to change her, I'm walking away. Story 3. I stole $12 from a kid's payment for an excursion and used it for food for me and my friends. During this time I was in year 3. Everyone had to pay $12 for an excursion so they could attend. One day, a boy, let's call him Riley, paid his money to the teacher that day. I thought it would be a good idea to steal this money so I was able to buy heaps of food from the canteen. I stole it and didn't get caught. At lunch, I offered to all my classmates if they wanted something from the canteen cause I could afford anything. They all had something but no one seemed suspicious. When lunch ended, the teacher asked the class if they had seen the money. No one knew where it went. Not even the kids that I bought food for with exactly $12. They were oblivious. The teacher mentioned that it was $12 but my classmates never realized that. In the end, I didn't get caught. I have stolen so much stuff from that classroom, like board games and things. Edit. Riley had to pay the money back if he wanted to go on the trip. So he never got to go. Story 4. I used to have rude nicknames for the disabled people I would see on my walk to the grocery. A few years back I used to live next to some Section 8 housing and I would see the same 3 folks from there every night on my walk to the grocery store. It wasn't a long walk, maybe about a mile, but the path went through a residential neighborhood without any streetlights at all, so I was constantly bumping into these folks without seeing them coming. Now, they all had mobility issues and a few mental ones besides. It wasn't uncommon for them to say some bizarre nonsense to me as we passed, so I decided to play that game too. I was on a Jim Croce kick at the time, so that was the basis for their nicknames. Rapid Roy had an old-fashioned wheelchair with no one to push it. He'd make about 400 feet of progress the whole time I was gone. Speedball Tucker had one of those motorized scooters and would tear ass up and down the street. I sing out the lyrics as he shot by. And they call me Speedball Tucker, terror of the highways, and all them other truckers will tell you that the boy is mad to be drivin' in a rig like that. My favorite was Real Big Woman that would drive her scooter in circles around me as I walked. I called her Spike and I would sing at her too. You know the night that I fell in love with a roller derby queen, round and round, oh round and round, the meanest hunk o' woman that anybody ever seen down in the arena. Round and round, go round and round round and round, go round and round round and round. After a while, I got kind of friendly with them and would say hey if I saw them already at the store when I got there. Sometimes I would see Roy out front smoking and I'd go hey Roy. You got a light? He never once commented on my calling him that. Turned out he was kind of a cool guy. I miss those folks sometimes, and never shared this with anyone. Story 5. When I was 8 or 9 I stole €600 from my dad and my stepmother. I know the title sounds weird but here we are. Back then when I was 9 or 8 I actually did spend a lot on Roblox with my stepsister. She was 11 at the time. Well, since I was like 8 I really didn't think much of spending money on Roblox, I actually thought it was all free. I think that my stepmother and my dad went to a dance or something, so of course my at the time stepsister had to look out for me at home. We decided to play our favorite Roblox game, Adopt Me. There was this Adopt Me Halloween update and my stepsister and I were obsessed. Well, and since I was 8 or 9 I really don't remember much, but I do remember the spending. I think her mom at the time, my stepmom, connected her card to her phone maybe because she needed something. And when my stepsister found out she told me that we can buy Robux. I agreed because our parents wouldn't let us buy any Robux. We bought Robux worth alone €600 and we also saved some for our avatars. We bought all the Adopt Me pets that were in the Halloween update and we were like the happiest, until probably like 2 weeks after that they found out, and how. I was playing in the morning and I got scammed for my new pet, Cerberus, the dog with 3 heads. I hope you know what I mean. Well, of course I started crying and I went to the living room where my dad was watching the TV. He asked me what was wrong and I told him that I didn't want to tell him, but I did in the end. I said that someone in a game took my ride pet that costs real life money. He tried to make me stop crying, but my stepsister and my stepmother came into the living room and she told my dad what happened. Of course they were mad, who wouldn't be right? They grounded us for about 3 months and took our phones, also downloaded us Family Link and told us we'll never play that game again. And I totally understand because they lost so much money because of us. Asterisk, do you think that I stole it or my sister did? Maybe both too. P.S. They are no longer together. But it isn't because of the money, that was longer ago. Story 6. I stole a keychain from a gift shop when I was younger. I was about 12 years old-ish, on vacation with my friend and her parents. We went into a gift shop on the boardwalk and I saw a keychain I really wanted, so I grabbed it, looked around to see if anyone was looking, then looked right into the camera, way to be sneaky, sheesh, and put it in my pocket. Never got caught, though they probably knew and just didn't give a shit. Edit, I can't edit the title, but I just noticed my stupid typo. I meant when not can lol. Story 7. When I was a kid I cracked my sister's head open in anger. It was a normal day. I just got back from my buddy's house, go into my room and find my Lego sets have been messed with and my sister jumping on my bed. In anger I push her off, she fell and hit her head off my dresser. I told my parents she fell off while jumping. I still feel bad to this day. Story 8. My friend and I stole something from our teacher in 1st grade. In 1st grade my class had inside recess and me and my friend saw these little toys on our teacher's desk. So being the little 7-year-old menaces we were, we took a handful and stuffed them in our bag and no one noticed. Then at the end of the day our teacher handed out the same toy for each of us and me and my friend looked at each other like we saw a ghost. We thought we were in the clear until I got home. My mom went in my backpack and saw the toys and I immediately confessed I stole them, and then she scolded me and told me to give them back. So next day I went in class and when the teacher wasn't looking I placed the toys on the desk. Then the teacher saw them and looked at them confused and I went on my day. But my friend never gave them back though. Story 9. I gassed my principal in the hallway and nobody to this day knows it was me. It was 3 years ago that our old principal was still here and I was waiting outside my class with my classmates when I slipped a silent but deadly out, and before any could notice we went into class, and 3 minutes later it still lingered and we heard a gag as my principal walked right into it. I stifled my laughter so hard as he came into class and said to us, "I think one of you has bowel problems." Story 10. Deleting my brother's Pokemon save account on Pokemon Leaf Green. I am F. 24. When I was a child of maybe 6 to 10 years old, I had a DS. It was the DS that allowed you to play Game Boy games on it. My siblings do not live with me for personal reasons, so any vacation my mom could get, we would visit them. Anytime we would go, my brother would give me games that he didn't play with anymore or games that he'd think I'd like. I'm the youngest of 4, so he would look out for me, and it helped since we had the same likes. Games and anime. A few of the games he gave me were Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories and The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords or something like that. There was a few games he told me not to touch. One of them was Pokemon Leaf Green. 10-year-old me watched Pokemon but never actually played the game, so when I saw it, I knew I had to play it. The problem with this is that Pokemon only allows you to have one save file. I went on my brother's save file at first to see if I could play his, but I didn't have a clue to what I was doing. So I made my own and deleted his in the process. When he caught me playing it, he asked if I made my own save file, and when I answered yes, he looked about done with life. He told me I could have the game, and young me was thrilled. No remorse from little me. Just a kid throwing the master ball at a common Vulpix here. The sad part is that I remember the Pokemon he had. He had a Mew and a Mewtwo, I believe. My friends feel bad when I tell them this story because they feel for my brother. They told me he probably had to do a lot to get Mewtwo and Mew in one file. I do feel bad, and I have the game to this day. It stares at me and remembers what I did. Story 11. Walking out of a gas station with coffee without paying for it. It was over a year ago at a major gas station chain. It was coffee from the coffee station, $5 max. Should I have any concerns? Note: I do not do this anymore, anywhere, and do not condone this activity. Story 12. M22. I am stealing from supermarkets and confused about it. I mean, for the last year I'm leaving abroad and I'm having some hard time financially. Not really, because I have supporting parents and I just need to ask them and they will help me, but it feels weird and needy to ask for money every time. I'm trying to live here on my own. Every time I'm going to the supermarket, I'm finding myself stealing at least one product, if it's a chocolate or fruits or meats, but sometimes even more than 50% of my cart's value. I keep my boundaries only to the big places, like supermarkets and big stores, so private people won't truly get hurt. I don't know if I like the danger or if I'm just being cheap. Don't know how okay it is or not, just needed to get it off a bit. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.